Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today, well, we're confronting a scenario that's both terrifying and profoundly thought-provoking. What happens when humanity simply vanishes? Not a sudden cataclysm, no, not dramatic explosions, but, a quiet, almost imperceptible fading away, leaving behind maybe a single individual or perhaps just the silent echoes of our absence. We've got a really fascinating stack of sources to dig into for this one. Post-apocalyptic survival, the unseen challenges, and the last human on Earth. Our mission for this deep dive, to pull out the core insights from these texts, explore the science of decay that would reclaim our world, and maybe, just maybe, uncover some deeper truths about what it means to be human when everything else is stripped away. This is going to be quite a journey, I think, into the quietest apocalypse imaginable.
Indeed. And these sources, they really push us to think beyond just, the practicalities of finding food and water. They make us consider the very essence of our human systems.
Human systems, you mean like...
Infrastructure. Exactly. Both the external stuff, the power grids, the cities we've built, and also our internal psychological architecture, our minds. What's really fascinating is how these different perspectives, these sources, they kind of weave together. They paint this incredibly detailed and, frankly, quite unsettling picture. A world without us and, maybe most importantly, a you completely alone in that world. We should probably break down the phases, right? How this absence unfolds and what adaptations become necessary.
That sounds chillingly precise. Yes, let's start right at the beginning. Phase 1, so you wake up one morning and everyone's gone.
Yeah.
The world feels like it's yours for the taking, almost. One source calls it a honeymoon phase. Stores are full, the power is still on, water runs from the tap. Any car, any house, it's suddenly yours. It sounds utterly surreal. This mix of absolute freedom and maybe profound disbelief.
Precisely. That's the perfect description. Yeah. The illusion of abundance. It's right there in the sources. But it is an illusion. Because all those automated systems, keeping the lights on, the water flowing, they're running on borrowed time. Without people there for maintenance, for fuel, for monitoring, they're on a silent countdown.
Okay. So it looks normal, but it's already starting to unravel.
Exactly. And the feeling isn't immediate sadness, according to one source. It's more this deep, unshakable sense of wrongness. The second source describes it as a deafening silence.
Deafening silence.
Yeah. Think about it. All the background noise of humanity, traffic, chatter, machinery, hum, everything just gone.
Right.
Replaced by this vast quiet.
That constant hum we don't even notice until it's not there.
Right. And in that quiet, your first instinct kicks in. Survival. You become this solitary scavenger, almost like a reluctant curator of a dead world.
That's a powerful image. Not sadness, but wrongness. I can almost feel that. That strange mix of freedom. Hey, I could take this cool sports car. And this underlying chilling fear. The supermarket door slides open, that eerie mechanical welcome, but there's nobody inside. And the food in the fridge section, it's ticking down, isn't it? A visible reminder that no one's managing things anymore. But that can't last long, that illusion.
It absolutely cannot. That initial phase, however strange or even freeing it might feel, is inherently temporary.
So what's the turning point? When does that illusion properly shatter? When does the world really start to, well, fall apart?
That's phase 2, the great shutdown. This is where the reality bites hard. That illusion of abundance, it shatters completely. The infrastructure, the backbone of our modern life, it begins its inevitable collapse.
The lights go out.
The lights flicker and then they die. The water stops running from the tap. And that silence we mentioned, now it's paired with darkness. Real, profound darkness in cities. Refrigerated food spoils quickly. It's gone as a reliable source. Your world shrinks dramatically and immediately. It basically boils down to what you can physically carry, what you can find for yourself, and the absolute essentials you can secure personally. This is the infrastructure collapse. It's unavoidable. Our sources break down the science here. Power plants, even nuclear ones, they have fail-safes.
Right, safety systems.
Yes, but many rely on external power for things like cooling and constant human oversight. Without that, they're designed to shut down automatically, usually within days, maybe weeks at most.
So it's not like a meltdown. Usually it's a controlled stop.
Generally, yes. A silent shutdown as systems don't get the input or maintenance they need. But this triggers a cascade. No power means no water pumps. No water pumps mean no sanitation, no internet, no communication beyond your own voice.
So survival suddenly becomes almost pre-industrial.
Exactly. You have to learn basic vital skills fast. Finding clean water sources, collecting rainwater, figuring out purification. Locating non-perishables canned goods, basically before they expire, or someone else, if there was someone else, got them. The power grids fail, block by block, city by city, plunging everything into this permanent darkness.
and your phone. That constant connection
Mm.
just becomes a dead rectangle, a useless piece of glass. It's quite the image. The constant hum of human life replaced by nature taking over. Birds nesting in skyscrapers, maybe coyotes in deserted parks, wind whistling through broken windows. Every little success, like finding a working flashlight or getting a drink of clean water, it becomes, as one source says, a temporary victory against an infinite opponent. So, but okay, let's say you manage that. You find water, you find canned food, you secure a shelter. It feels like the threats just change, right? They don't go away.
You're absolutely right. Surviving the initial chaos, the infrastructure collapse, just brings you face to face with a new set of dangers. And they're not all external.
Okay, so what happens next? You've got the basics covered, maybe found a routine. What are these new, more insidious threats?
We see two major shifts happening around the same time, usually within the first year or so. Externally, there's this concept called ecological release.
Ecological relief?
Yeah. Think about all the pressure humans put on the natural world, hunting, habitat destruction, managing populations. Remove humans, and that pressure disappears overnight. Animal populations would explode. Species would move into new territories. Deer in downtown areas. Wolves may be moving back into places they haven't been for centuries.
Domesticated animals?
They'd become feral. Packs of dogs reverting to wild instincts, cats becoming super predators for birds, and zoo animals. Well, the fences won't hold forever without maintenance. Suddenly you might have lions or bears roaming suburban streets, apex predators in unexpected places.
That's terrifying.
Simultaneously, our own structures begin their slow structural decay. Buildings, bridges, dams, they all need maintenance. Without it, they start to fail. Slowly, unpredictably. Familiar places become death traps. A collapsing overpass, a building fire started by lightning that just burns unchecked through a city.
Okay, so the physical world gets wilder and more dangerous. But you mentioned internal threats, too.
Yes, and this is crucial. What happens to the human mind in total isolation? One source goes into profound detail here. That's silence. It stops being just external. It starts to creep inside. You might find yourself talking to yourself more, not just thinking, but actually speaking your thoughts aloud.
Just to hear a voice.
Exactly. Narrating your actions. Okay, now I'm opening this can. Maybe talking to inanimate objects, giving them names, personalities, anything for the illusion of companionship. The human brain is fundamentally social. Deprive it of interaction, and it starts to, well, compensate. It starts manufacturing reality.
Manufacturing reality. Hallucinations.
It can manifest that way. Seeing movement in the corner of your eye, hearing faint whispers on the wind. It's not supernatural. It's your brain trying to fill the void with data.
Which must lead to paranoia, right?
Almost inevitably. Every sound becomes amplified. Is that creak just the building settling? Or is it something else? Is that rustle an animal? Or the line blurs?
And time itself.
Yeah.
Without clocks, without schedules, without other people.
Yeah.
Does it lose meaning?
It becomes fluid. You lose track of days, then weeks. The rhythm of society is gone. What day is it? Does it even matter? And this ties into purpose. Why do anything? Why build something, plant something, create something if no one will ever see it or benefit from it?
That motivation, that drive, it's so often tied to sharing, isn't it?
Intrinsically. The desire to build, to achieve, to make something beautiful or useful, it often relies on that social context, that potential audience, however small or abstract. Take that away, and the purpose can just erode.
So, years pass. You've somehow survived the collapse, the wild animals, maybe even kept your mind relatively intact. The world is overgrown, wild. What's the final hurdle? What are the long-term, quiet threats?
This is where the sources get really stark. The ultimate truth is that the most likely thing to end your survival isn't something dramatic. It's not the bear attack, probably not even losing your mind completely. It's a silent killer.
Like disease or an accident.
Exactly. A simple infection from a deep cut, a broken bone that gets infected. Appendicitis. Things that are easily treatable now with antibiotics, surgery, basic medical care. They become fatal. Your supplies run out eventually. Found medical kits expire. Canned food, even with long dates, doesn't last forever. Your glasses break and you can't get new ones. It comes down to entropy. Entropy always wins.
Entropy, the tendency towards decay and disorder.
It's a fundamental law. Everything breaks down without continuous input of energy and maintenance. Think of a wooden fence rotting. Now scale that up to a dam, or a water purification system, or your own body fighting off infection. Without the vast support network of human society, that fight becomes incredibly difficult, often impossible. Our fragility without that system is absolute. And there's an even deeper erosion happening, according to the sources, the erosion of the self.
The self. How so?
Think about it. Your clothes are rags. Your body is weathered, scarred, your language. You haven't spoken to another person in years. Words start to feel unnecessary. Thoughts might become more fragmented, less structured.
Because you don't need to explain them to anyone.
Precisely. And without other people to reflect you back to yourself, without that social mirror, who are you? Our sense of self isn't just internal, it's forged in relation to others. Their reactions, their expectations, their very presence helps define us.
You become less human.
You become a solitary consciousness, adrift. Maybe just another organism surviving in a world that has moved on from humanity. The fantasies, the whispers you might have heard earlier, they might become more real, more persistent.
It's not just a journey into the wilderness outside, then. It's a journey into the deepest wilderness inside the mind, when it's deprived of its most basic need, other people. So, wrapping this up, what's the takeaway? How long could someone realistically last?
The sources suggest it's a total lottery. Depends on luck, skills, health, location. Maybe a few months, maybe a few years. If you were incredibly skilled, exceptionally healthy, and unbelievably lucky, maybe decades. But that's the extreme outlier.
But the ultimate point isn't just the time limit, is it?
No, the profound conclusion is that one person alone cannot sustain what we understand as human existence long term. The complex systems we rely on, both external and internal, they require collective effort. Our identity, our ability to thrive, even our sanity, it's all fundamentally linked to being with others. That silence, that absolute absence, eventually just becomes too loud. It fundamentally changes you.
Wow. So this exploration reveals not just how fragile our cities and grids are, but how fragile we are without each other. Our minds, our very sense of self. It really makes you think, doesn't it? What stands out to you listening now about this deep dependence we have on each other? Not just for survival, but for being who we are.
Perhaps the real miracle isn't imagining surviving alone. Maybe it's the fact that we manage to survive, build, create, and connect together every single day. That's the truly astonishing thing.
A very thought-provoking end to our journey into the quietest apocalypse. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning.